Hi everybody, welcome to week 2 of ECE 115, Creative Art, Movement, and Expression. I'm glad you're back. I have just a few announcements. First of all, week 1 went by so fast. Here we are in week 2. Please be sure on your assignments to read the directions carefully. And I don't know if you've noticed, but below each assignment is a grading rubric or an expectations area that tells you specifically what I'm looking for on each question. So be sure and address that before you turn in your assignment. I'm generally looking for at least 3 to 5 sentences for short response questions. So I really want you to explain your answers well so they can really tell that you're grasping the information, grasping the content. Also, be sure to put the answers in your own words, and there's no need to submit anything else for the Pinterest assignments. So you don't have to turn anything in. I will grade those assignments directly from Pinterest, and so far I've seen some fantastic things there. So keep that up. Next, I want to bring up a little bit about our final project, because this is a fairly large project for our class, and you could be working on this a little bit each week. If you go to week 4, you can take a look at our final project, which is building 25 activity cards. And when I say activity cards, that's actually kind of an old school term. We used to actually write them on index cards, but for this purpose, you'll be writing activity cards in PowerPoint or on Google Slides. And so you'll have a PowerPoint slide or a Google Point slide for each activity. And I've got lots of directions in there, and I'll be sending you out some more information on this. So they should be projects that you can do with a small group of children. Different age groups are represented or specified, so be sure and look at the directions. These activities should be something that either you've done in a classroom or with a group of children, or maybe even with your kids at home, or someone that you know have done them. So they should be what we call proven activities. We don't want you going into the classroom with a group of activities to do that have not been recreated yet. What if the recipe is wrong for the Play-Doh? What if the count is wrong on the items that you need to do that? So we want to be sure that they're correct and that they're proven. And they're specifically for art, movement, and that should be and expression. So be sure and go to week 4 and check out our final project specifics. So today we're going to go over chapter 9 and a little bit about creative development through the curriculum. If you look at this next slide, I love this. Kids who participate in arts develop all these different skills: problem solving, dexterity, spatial acuity, tolerance, focus, collaborative skills. These are probably items that you've never really thought of before as going along with art, but all of them really do. There's so much to be learned through art. If you look in our textbook, Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences is briefly talked about in our media as well. And I would like for you to look at this huge list of various intelligences that a child or an adult might have. And it's important to point out that there's hardly ever a person that only has one intelligence. We have several different ones that stand out to us individually. And if you go to week 2, there's actually a little quiz area where you can click on and find out maybe a little more about where your intelligences lie, and it may help kind of explain to you why you're drawn to certain things in life. So linguistic, logico-mathematical, musical, body kinesthetic, visual spatial, interpersonal versus intrapersonal, naturalistic, spiritual, and existential. So read up a little bit on all of those different types of multiple intelligences. I think our list used to be something like 4 or 5, grew to 6, and now we have so many more areas identified. So let's talk about learning to draw, because this is an amazing point in a child's life. If we start off with random scribbling, we're generally talking about 15 months to 2.5 years, but I've seen children quite a bit younger engage in random scribbling as well. Stage 2 is controlled scribbling. 2 to 3 years, they're starting to get some more fine motor skills and are able to control the writing device a little bit better. Stage 3, lines and patterns that we can tell what's going on there, 2.5 to 3.5 years. Stage 4, pictures of objects or people, so actually representing people, and I'm going to show you a drawing here in a minute that is a great example. This is 3 to 5 years, and then stage 5, letter and word practice, 3 to 5 years as well. So we need to be sure that we're putting children into groups and giving them activities that go along with the correct stage that they're in. We don't want to pick an art activity that's way beyond their means. Below is actually okay because they can master those a lot better. But we don't want to frustrate them with the activities that we choose. So here's an example of pre-drawing where we look at scribbles, right? And we've probably all seen a little bit of that, whether it's on paper or maybe, oops, on the walls that the kids have engaged in. So pre-drawing scribbles. Next, eggs with legs. This is a great stage that the children go through. So about 3-ish or so, we start to see these eggs with legs. It's a circle that often has maybe or maybe not the correct number of arms and legs. And as they progress, they're going to add a few more details. So you can tell from this that it's something that's living and it's got eyes, it's got a mouth. If we look here, this is older, maybe 4 or 5. Adding body parts and dun dun dun, fingers. That's a big stage for us. So we've got square bodies in this instance. We've got arms that have been added. We've got fingers. We've got legs with feet. So, and up here we've got little words too. Hello, 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 and I'm really not sure what that one says. And then here, this would be even more an older child. I'm guessing maybe 8 or so. More details are added with age. So if you look at this picture, I think we've got a playground, we've got the sunshine, and we all go through that sunshine phase where the sun is always half seen, or maybe it's in a corner. They've got a ball out here, some type of a net. I think these are slides and swings. And we've got people walking around a track too, and I'm guessing this is probably a tree right here. So we can tell a lot more detail, a lot more about what's going on in this picture. And it just comes with age. Some people faster than others. So let's look at some different types of two-dimensional art. We're specifically talking about drawing, whatever you're using, pen, pencil, washable marker, crayons, painting. All types of non-toxic paints are available out there. And of course, if you go on Pinterest, you're going to find tons of recipes that can be used with different age groups. And printmaking. And this might be with an actual stamp, or it could be with something that's been created out of a sponge or a potato. There's lots of strange things we can make prints from. And then we have three-dimensional art. So in this, we're talking about Play-Doh, clay, collages, and woodworking. So building things out of wood. And the Play-Doh and the clay, again, that's another great thing. Go on Pinterest. Lots of recipes for Play-Doh or clay that may be a little less harmful, maybe non-toxic, but also it's okay if a little bit of it gets eaten. I know there's lots of recipes for peanut butter Play-Doh, which is fun. Sometimes a little sticky, but it's okay if it goes in the mouth, and we want it to be safe. And then lastly, music. What do we learn from music? Lots of things, lots of things. First of all, they're listening, they're using their ears. They're singing, so they're recreating these words, they're practicing language, they're learning a little bit about their vocal cords, playing musical instruments. I don't know if any of you remember when you go to music class and the box, every music class has the box with the different instruments in it, and maybe you were always drawn to the tambourine or the sticks, the kazoo, I don't know, whatever cymbals. Whatever you were drawn to, there's probably a musical instrument you remember from your early years. And then lastly, movement, moving along with the music. And they're finding more and more benefits of this in early childhood. So very important. If we look at this slide, we've got why teach music? first of all, if we look just at the highlights, music is science, it's math, it's foreign language because we may sing in different languages, it's physical development, hands, eyes, movements that go along with it. And most of all, music is art. It's a form of art, so it allows a form of expression. So think about all the different things that goes into music, the rhythms, the beats, the music, um, the words. Everything comes together to create this great opportunity for the child to learn from. So lastly, aesthetic appreciation, which is listening to something and or looking at something and realizing, what do I like about that? Why do I like this? So learning to appreciate art, to appreciate music, to appreciate sculpture is something that comes along with art education. So maybe as the child ages, they realize they're drawn to a certain specific type of art. Maybe they really like sketch drawings over oil paintings, or maybe they're drawn to certain colors when they're young. And you can realize this and notice it with your children. So there are different ways to accomplish this, and there are different reasons why we should spend time on this. And in your summary, I would like for you to address these two questions. So you tell me, how can aesthetic appreciation be accomplished in your classroom? How could you do this? And why spend time on this element of creative development? Why is it important? So you tell me. Find something you are passionate about and keep tremendously interested in it. And that's Julia Child, fantastic chef. And she actually started it pretty late in life. It's never too late. Lastly, our questions page. If you think of anything, you stumble upon a question, you're unsure about an assignment, please be sure and contact me, text me, email me, Facebook me, whatever it takes, and I'll try to help you out. Okay? Have a great week.